What we're going to do is what's called the foundation row. To make the foundation row, sometimes people like to work into just one side of that V that we were just talking about. Personally, I work under both sides of the V right from the very beginning, but you can, if it's easier for you starting off, just go through one side. I'll demonstrate that now. So the first stitch we're going to learn to do is the double crochet. So you'll see that in a pattern as DC, and it's very easy. So I will do the foundation row here just through one side because it will be easier for you. So come under one side of the V, just like you did with the chain, catch the yarn, pull it through the side of the chain stitch and stop there. Now you've got 2 loops on your hook. Then you're going to take the yarn again and you're going to come all the way through those 2 loops. So you just have 1 left. So let's try that again. Go through one side of the V, catch your yarn, pull it back through. You've got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and bring it through the 2. Now you have 2 stitches made. So let's do that again in the next one. Through your chain, yarn over, back through, 2 loops on your hook now, yarn over, and through those 2. And we keep repeating that step all the way to the end. So through the chain, yarn over, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and all the way through the 2. Yarn, oh, getting ahead of myself there, going on to the next stitch. Come back through, yarn over, through 2 loops. There's just a handful of basic stitches in crochet that are the foundation for all the more difficult, complicated stitches and patterns that you'll find. But just the few basic stitches that we're going to cover over the next few weeks will have you set up for any pattern that you want to do. Like I said, this one is called the double crochet. You can see on the cheat sheet I'll provide you, the terminology is different in US patterns. And I use the UK terminology. So in UK terminology, this stitch is called the double crochet. So we're nearly at the end of the row. This stitch gives a nice closed texture to any work that you're making. And any of these stitches can be made, or can be worked in any of the thicknesses of yarn. For the purposes of practice today, we're using double knit and a 4mm hook. Now, when it comes to practicing, one of the biggest mistakes that's made is as you work your piece, you'll find it getting more and more triangular in shape. And that's because you're either missing the first stitch at the start of your work, or you're missing the last one at the end. So you've got to take care to make sure that you're getting each stitch each time. This is our last stitch here. So we're going to go under one side, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. With this stitch, to get to the next row, you make 1 chain at the end, and then you turn your work over in your hand, so you're going to work back this direction now. This time, now that we have the foundation row finished, we're going to work into the 2 sides of the V. If you can see it a little bit more clearly there now that we're out of the chain. So this is 1 stitch, these 2 V pieces here. And to make our first double crochet in this row, we're going to come right here to the first one, and we're going to go under the 2 loops, or the 2 pieces of the V, yarn over like we did in the other row, pull it back through, got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull it through, and again come under the 2 sides of the V, yarn over, pull it through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull it through. So through underneath the 2 sides of the V, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through the 2 loops. So after a few rows, your work should look like this. The edges should be straight. Like we said already, if they're starting to taper in, don't worry. It happens when you're starting out. The only problem is you're either missing a stitch at the start or a stitch at the end, or both. If it's coming in on both sides, you need to watch both carefully. So if that's happening, just take it back to the start and practice again. I would recommend maybe doing a chain of 15 or 20 stitches and doing maybe 20 rows to see how you're going. It's good practice. It gets the rhythm. It gets the technique of holding your yarn, how to turn. It's a good idea to practice like that before you commit to doing a pattern or a project, and it'll stand you in good stead when you do go to work a pattern. As you can see, there's a lovely texture to this stitch. And to recap, this one is called the double crochet in UK terminology. When you come to the end of each row, you're making a chain of 1 to move up to the next row and turning, and then you start work straight away in this first space. When you come to the end of the row, you're working all the way to the last space. To make the stitch, you're going through the space under the 2 sides of the V, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, through 2 loops. And that's your double crochet.